captain to let me do a walkthrough of the boat because I wanted to show my family and some friends on Facebook. And we decided it was a good time to give everybody on YouTube an update where we're at with the boat. So the outside of the boat is still not great. It's better. We used to have all the stuff from our old boat. We had sold the old boat when we bought this boat a year and a half ago. And we had piled it all on top of the boat. And it was very unpleasant. That was while we were working on the downstairs, though. The downstairs, we're not going to show you the downstairs first. We're going to show you the top side. But downstairs was all a varnish that had become dilapidated. Just a complete mess downstairs, plus cabinets cut out. So everything was up here while we were working on the downstairs. So even though the top side of the boat still needs a lot of work, you know, new numbers, paint, etc., we're happy with what we've got so far. We've got a new windlass up there. We got that a while back, but that's one of the newer additions. We know that our sails are in pretty good shape because we have taken the boat out a couple of times before we found out that we need a new engine, which is what we're waiting on at this point. So we're going to be putting on new paint, new handrails. We're going to be getting new lifelines. We've done a little bit of varnishing. We've started on the hard dodger. The guy who's doing that, his name is Brett. He came out and he measured and he cut the wood and he fitted it. And then we found out we needed a new engine. That's when our engine broke. And to be able to take the engine out, we're going to have to bring it up through this companionway. So we decided to hold off on the hard dodger till we get the engine replaced. Then we're going to be finishing the hard dodger, and then we're going to sand and paint the boat. We're going to be doing it ourselves. We're watching other people who are also doing the same thing to their Morgans. And just in case you don't know, this is a 1976 Morgan Island 41. It used to be used on the East Coast for people to go out to the coral reefs, and now it has ended up here in California. Okay, so there's nothing really fancy to show in the cockpit except that we have been able to sand and revarnish the hatches and the companionway slats. Again, there's still a lot of work to do, but we have a skiff. We did build out the arch and the dinghy davits. So that's all in place. And we've got one solar power frame up there at this time. We're going to be adding a second one soon. So we got a couple of gas propane tanks and gas tanks and all that. Those could probably be sitting somewhere else once we get the boat painted. Then we can move things to where their final destination is going to be. So we would like to now take you downstairs and show you what we've been doing down below. All right, so we just came down the back stairs to the aft cabin. Now, what's really funny about this is that when we first got the boat, this cabin was the best part of the boat. So we wanted to keep this kind of clean, even though we knew eventually we were going to paint, clean and paint and build some new cabinets. This was the best part of the boat. And because of all the work we've done, as you're going to see, this is now the worst kind of foam glue to stick window coverings up there, and it dripped down, and they never really cleaned it off. So we still have to, we're going to be taking out all the windows and replacing these with wood and cleaning all this off. We're going to probably do a nice, paint over this and then build out some wood cabinets. We'd like to do something with this bathroom door. And by the way, if you see anything in this video, even if we don't discuss it, or if I mention something about what our plans are and you have some ideas for us, please put them down in the comments section, because we appreciate that a lot of you work on your own boats and you might have ideas. So this door, when we take showers in here, this door leaks, and we are not carpenters. So we're still figuring out how we're going to fix this door without having to buy a new one. So we have worked on this bathroom. And even though it still needs sanding, it didn't have these cabinets. What it had was this hole down in here that somebody had used a saw to just cut it out so they could fit a water heater in the back there and a holding tank. So we found, we're not carpenters, but we put together this frame and these doors that we found at Minnie's for $10. And this at least now looks better. We got to finish putting this in place. We're going to get some of those things that hold the doors in. We've ordered them on Amazon. We built the wood floor, which we're very proud of. Excuse me. And we've added in this medicine chest. Yesterday we painted back up in here and then lined it with some of these mats. So this is all much cleaner. Captain's eventually going to get to the wiring, figure out what all these old wires are, what they go to, and either tear them out. So we've painted in here. It used to be smelly and dirty, just like the back wall of our cabin, and it's now been painted, and we've put some mats down here. I might build a wood floor for those, though, so that sometimes water does get in there, and I want everything to be sitting up off any water that might go in. So we're going to be looking at making some kind of wood grate, just like we made this wood floor. So
for a second, talk about that pipe.
Yeah.
That's the pump out for the holding tank.
This pipe has an interesting history that we see just kind of hanging here. This boat was used as a liveaboard, and we believe what happened, they had to prove they had a holding tank. And so this goes to the holding tank, but it has not been plumbed to the top side so that it can be, emptied or sucked out or whatever the word is. So this is, eventually we got to figure out where this is going to go, but right now it's just an inconvenience. So the floors, we are saving for last because we've dripped paint on them, we've scuffed them up with equipment, we're going to be having the engine put in and take it out. So the floors are now also looking like one of the worst things on the boat, and they used to also look like one of the best parts of the boat, but they're really standing out now. So we've got the cabinets up here. We didn't have to do too much to this. We don't know what we're going to use in here. This still needs to be painted out inside there. We're not sure what we're going to be putting in there, maybe more jars. And I know glass is usually a big no-no on the boat, but we built out these cabinets. This used to be a hanging locker. And we built these cabinets and put some rails up, and this is right now, I don't know that they're going to stay here permanently, but I can food and primarily meats, because when we leave to go on our journey, I want to be able to take good quality meat that I know what's in it in jars. And so we've got bacon, sausage, potatoes, butter, ketchup and barbecue sauce. I didn't can these, of course, but applesauce and peaches back there. And I plan on doing some more canning. Hopefully, this boat is really heavy. It's about 15 tons, and we have had it out a few times. Granted, not in a big storm, but even when we've been out in some pretty good-sized swells, 6 to 8 feet, hardly anything moves. It's not like on the old Columbia 36 we used to have, where just the slightest swell and everything would go flying off the counters. This boat, nothing moves. I think one time we took the boat out, and we had some lotion up here, and I think it fell over, and that's about it. Nothing else moved. So, but we may find another place to put the jars. We're thinking we may need to weave some kind of fabric in between each of them, so if they knock, they won't break. And we may end up putting doors here if we keep them here, but we might be building out other cabinets. Our idea is to build cabinets behind the stairs, both here in the aft cabin and in the galley. Build out like a cabinet that attaches to the stairs. The stairs would keep their steps. The cabinet, though, would have drawers that pull out and go back into the cabinet that's going to be built behind it. And that might be what we end up putting these jars in. That might be better than having them just on loose shelves. But we're not going anywhere till we get an engine, so I'm not really worried about the jars where they're being stored right now. All right, moving forward. We've got the engine down in here. The captain has tools down in this cabinet, so there's no point showing you. All of his tools are shoved in here. It's not pretty. We're not painting it. We've got a water tank behind this cabinet.
And a water maker.
And a water maker. Yeah, there's a water maker up in here. I forgot about that. And it hasn't been plumbed in yet because we're not going anywhere, but this is probably where it's going to be plumbed in at. And I forget how, it makes about, how many gallons?
I think 2 gallons an hour.
It makes about 2 gallons an hour, and it'll be helpful to have with us when we're out at sea. Here's the captain's desk. The captain's what?
Nav station.
Here's the captain's nav station. It is not finished yet, obviously. We're going to get him at some point to get this a little better organized. But while we've been working on the boat, a lot of times we put things here that we're going to need to look for in the future. So this will probably be one of the last places that gets organized. And we'll put a nice little sign up here for the captain so he knows where his desk is. We painted down in here. We found paint. We used an enamel paint. We matched the color by taking one of these doors into Home Depot. They matched the color for us. And we've been putting these everywhere just because we don't want things being scuffing up everything we've been painting. There's more storage down here. We painted where this comes out. We've got coffee and beans down in that section. And we're not sure what's going on in there yet. We're going to build another cabinet behind these stairs that also attaches to the stairs where we'll have drawers that pull out. If you think of a better idea for how to build more storage space behind the stairs, leave a comment in the comment section. Coming over here to the settee, this is still not in the best shape. They moved the seat in, the people who previously owned it, and then they built out the cushions. This used to be, so on the other Morgans, this settee would have been down here. So this was a big, huge settee. But they moved it forward, this side of it, and they turned these two cabinets into a pilot berth. We wanted more storage. We didn't feel we needed a pilot berth, so we took out the cushion, which is now in the V berth, and we turned this into storage. So these cabinets were built out. So this was built out. These cabinets were built out. We put some big, deep drawers in here, which it's not completely organized yet. We kind of just, once we got this done, we were so happy to get stuff off the floors and top of the boat and put it somewhere. We still need to put some handles on it and something to lock them in place, something to hold the drawers in place. Those are other ideas. When we did take the boat out once after these were built, these kept sliding out. We know we need something strong to put in here to keep these from moving out. We're just not sure exactly what yet. And we're going to put some latches on the bottom of the cupboard and on the top, and something handles across the middle. And then we're going to, again, take out the windows. We need new windows. And we're going to do something, we're not sure yet, with, where the carpet is. Maybe we'll just put it back down, or maybe we'll put some wood over it. And our plan is also, we think this is hollow behind here. We're thinking of cutting this whole thing out and turning it into a library and a liquor cabinet. But we're going to be putting a little camera in through these holes to see what's in there, to see if that's even feasible. This table is going to be replaced. We are going to measure and have a new table made for this so that it can be also lowered to turn it into a bed. Right now it can't be used as a berth. And then we've recently added the clock and the barometer. This is storage. At some point we will be putting in, we did add in a shelf up here to where we moved the microwave oven and some light things, these sleeping bags if we ever need them. This is now where the rest of our junk is stored. What used to be all over the top of the boat and all over the floor has now been put away and organized into our various cabinets and drawers. This is basically the last of stuff that will probably stay here, but we'll organize it better. We'll be putting a wash machine in here and plumbing it in to the bilge and to the water tanks. And I don't think I addressed when we bought this boat, I don't know if you remember the pictures, and the captain will probably put the pictures up. this cabinet had been cut out with some kind of saw, and there was a small, rusted, apartment-sized refrigerator sitting here. And we did take the boat out once while the refrigerator was still here, which was probably stupid. We had it bungee corded in, but even on the way back from Catalina, we were hitting some pretty good-sized swells. Excuse me. And at one point, the refrigerator did fall over, so it was kind of stupid. After that, we got rid of the refrigerator. We have this cabinet built out. Behind this door is where the unit is, the cold plate that the captain purchased and installed so that he could turn the ice spots into a refrigerator freezer. So we do have a refrigerator, and if things are kept like low and up against the the unit, we can even keep ice cubes and other things frozen. Not a whole lot, but some things. Excuse me. So this panel is removable, so he can get to the condenser.
Compressor.
So he can get to the compressor if necessary. We also, when we had this counter built out, and after the refrigerator was taken out, we had some drawers made so that we could have additional storage for things that were just kind of loose and sitting around. I love these drawers. I love that there's a place for everything, whereas before things were just sitting in boxes all around. We painted in here. We painted these, put some shelf liners in, and it's much nicer. We got our dishes on this side and then our liquor cabinet on this side at this point. And the captain installed some lighting so that it lights up in there when we turn the galley lights on. This is where, of course, we're storing our pots and pans. We're not going to paint up here because pots and pans are just going to make it kind of messy anyways. And right now we have this dirty green carpet we bought as just a cheap carpet that we knew would be getting all dirty while we were working on the boat, but we put it down to prevent the floor from being damaged in any way. But we had Brett come out and put a new floor in, so we still need to put some trim pieces down. I don't know what happened to the trim pieces, but we'll get some new trim pieces and put them down. But this is the floor. There was no floor when we got the boat. You'll be seeing pictures of that. It was the gray foundation floor. What's that called? There was a subfloor. With the parquet that they had here in the galley had been all ripped out. All there was the gray subfloor, and it was cracked and broken, and it was extremely ugly, and it was very depressing to look at. And so now we have this nice floor that doesn't match the rest of the old parquet, but teak and holly is nice. At some point we may end up putting teak and holly throughout, but for now we've got teak and holly here where there used to be just the subfloor, gray subfloor. And then back here we have again, anything that looks crazed is being replaced. We have some nice lamps. This used to be full of stuff too. A lot of stuff had been piled up in here. And one day, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, we said, we're really tired of seeing the V-berth just full of storage. And we made a big effort to come in and find a place for everything that was sitting in here. And this is basically the last of it. What you see back here is probably going to remain back here. We're going to be storing paper towel and toilet paper over there, the games, knitting stuff, some sheets and blankets and pillows in case anybody does sleep back here. Here's the pilot berth cushion that we think we're going to cut and turn into cockpit cushions. And we've got some additional storage back here where there's some beans and rice. I believe there's storage underneath these cushions as well, where we have additional beans and rice. And then we haven't done much work on this head yet, but we haven't done a whole lot of work on it yet because it's just an extra head in our opinion. Nice to have, everything works. It's got a electric toilet and a shower. and the sink and everything. This is probably where we're going to be storing extra supplies, like cleaning supplies, what have you. And we're going to make the floor for this one head as well, just because it looks nicer. And that is it. That is our boat. We're going to look into getting pictures hung at some point. We haven't really been able to do too much decorating because for the last year and a half, every weekend we come down here and we work on the boat. We clean it, sand it, varnish, paint. So we really haven't gotten to a point where let's hang pictures or let's, do some kind of decorating. We've just been trying to get it to the status where you see it now, which is, we believe, finally livable. Yes, there's still things that need to be done, but we're much happier with the way it looks now than the way it used to look, even up to 3 or 4 months ago. Thank you for watching. Oh, and a shout out to Annette and Spike in Nebraska. Go Huskers.